What's going on, guys? This is Zoe with No Days Off DFS here to bring you the NBA slate breakdown for. We got a pretty nice size slate on today's slate. I want to say it's 7 games that we actually have on the dock for tonight. Kind of in the middle of that sweet spot where we're not having a too big of a slate. We're not having a too small of a slate. So hopefully we can actually find some nuggets and can actually play some pretty decent games today. If you guys are new here, you guys haven't done so already, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the content I'm putting out over here on the channel. And yeah, but like if this video helps you guys in any way, shape, or form. All right, so looking at it, we definitely have some injury news that we have to pay attention to on this slate, kind of like how it is to be expected. We've had injury news to pay attention to last slate, definitely affected how you bet out some of your lines. Speaking of last night, Dazay Sharp not getting the start, of course, and then the Brooklyn Nets running small, so you have Ben Simmons out there. Ben really good spender possession right there on the slate, and then just looking through it, Luka, man, that dude, he's showing why he's the truth. Definitely in prime midseason form out there, dropping back-to-back 70 burgers on us on the slate. And then, of course, Darius Garland being ruled out. And then going out there, Donovan Mitchell literally played all 42 minutes last night. I literally watched that game, and I did not see him leave the court. Crazy. And now, of course, he is a game time decision. Might be out, might be in on today. Kind of recording this a little bit later in the day, so some injury news is already broken, so definitely we'll be able to go over that for you guys as we go through it. So I'm gonna look through the injury report, go over team by team real quick right here, and then I'll go ahead and go straight into the breakdown since this is coming out later on in the day. And I'm just gonna like really just touch on everything pretty quickly as I go through it. In regards to just some notes, some things that we could possibly look at, and some spots that we could take advantage of as we go through and we do the breakdown. So looking at, of course, New York and the Pelicans, no news really to report. All these same guys, they've been out already to start the season, so nothing new for either one of these teams. The New York Knicks, they are on the back-to-back. They did play last night. The Chicago Bulls and Detroit Pistons, they both did play last night as well. Zach LaVine, he's a game time decision, but he is probably to play. I haven't seen anything else pop up for him yet. For the Detroit Pistons, like I said, they did play last night. The same guys are out that were out yesterday are still out today. For the Memphis Grizzlies, they did play last night as well. They played going up against the Nuggets, and then in Washington, they didn't play, so nothing for them. But Aldama, Clark, Luke Kennard, and John Morant, of course, all those are going to be out for Memphis. And then for Washington, calling them Mystics again. Washington Wizards, Davis and Shaman are out. For the Indiana Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton, right now he is game time decision due to being sick, and we had that yesterday for yesterday's news, so hopefully we get something up to lock in regards to that, because if he's out, then that is going to boost some of those guys off the bench for them, so we definitely want to know that, because if he is going to be out, we will be looking at more like an Andrew Nembhard or TJ McConnell, who's a really great fantasy point per minute producer for Cleveland. And we've already got the news that Darius Garland is going to be out. Donovan Mitchell, like I said, we got to figure out if he's going to play or not. Like I said, he played all 42 minutes last night. He was out there on the court all night. Interesting to see if he plays or not. Kind of don't think they need him necessarily to win this game, but definitely something to pay attention to. For the 76ers, James Harden still out away from the team. Toronto, definitely got to pay attention to OG. He left last night's game with cramping, so kind of interesting to see if he'll be in or out. That's definitely something you want to watch. And then for Miami, we already got news that Jimmy Butler, he's going to be out tonight. Kevin Love, he is already out. So the old guys, they're going to be out. They're still going to be out. Martin, Richardson, and Highsmith. So really nothing else going on for them. And then for the Timberwolves, we have Jaden McDaniels. He is out, and Clark is out as well. For Utah, nothing new for them. Got a pretty clean injury report. And then for the Phoenix Suns, we already know that Beal and Booker are going to be out. So we already know it's going to be that boy KD, pretty much your highest own stud on tonight's slate. All right. So that is your injury report. Like I said, a couple of these teams, Miami, they did play last night as well. Toronto, they played last night. Cleveland played last night. And the Utah Jazz, they played last night. Those are other ones that are on a back-to-back. So this is the first back-to-back that we do have for the season. First back-to-back for a lot of these teams. First time that we'll actually have to focus on that type of thing. The only team that is playing their third game in 4 nights is going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm pretty sure I'm not mistaken on that one. Yeah, their third game in 4 nights. So Cleveland, they're on that little bit of a timetable that we have to actually think about and consider whenever we're thinking about scheduling wise. All right, so starting out with the Memphis Grizzlies taking on Washington. Last night, Desmond Bane was a good play. Jerry Jackson Jr., he went off. He actually had a pretty decent game out there, 7,800. Bane is sitting at 8,500. Bane did not shoot well at all last night. That was literally one of his worst shooting nights ever. 4 of 17, as we seen in the first game, going up against the Pelicans, 11 of 22. I wouldn't mind going right back to Bane. Only played 32 minutes last night. Going up against the Washington Wizards, who we know pretty much they're tanking. They paid Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma just to come out there and just shoot and do whatever. They do not play any defense, and we saw them in the first game going up against the Indy. They went out there and they dropped 140 plus points out there on them. So Definitely don't mind going right back to the main two studs over here for the Memphis Grizzlies with Ja and everyone else being out in Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr. Do not mind going right back to either one of those guys. And then Marcus Smart, his role and what he's actually doing for this team, 5,900, price kind of a little bit too low. Dropped a 40 burger out there last game, 31 minutes. In a game where I can definitely see him racking up some steals, especially off Jordan Poole, Kyle Kuzma, Denny Avdia, all those guys, young guys that kind of loosey-goosey. We've seen Tyrese Halliburton. He racked up a couple steals while he was out there as well. I definitely think this is a spot we can go to Marcus Smart. And then Xavier Tillman, him as well. The guy, he has been balling out here. 48 in the first game, 34 in the second game. He is pretty much going to be their starting center with Steven Adams being out for the year. So definitely do not mind considering these top 4 players right here for the Memphis Grizzlies. Definitely would be a game I would target in regards to players to take from, even though they're on a back-to-back. That shouldn't matter. Again, this is their first back-to-back of the season. As long as they're going to go out there and play minutes, Jaren Jackson Jr., as long as he keeps himself out of foul trouble, definitely do not mind going to any of those guys. Over here for the Washington side, we already know it's a pool party, and then it's going to be Kyle Kuzma. Kuzma, kind of a bit more scoring dependent when it comes down to it. Looks like he's not too interested in doing too much else. Same thing with Jordan Poole. They're just out there just to check up the shots. I would rather much pay down for Tyus Jones, but either Poole or Kuzma, more for GPPs. Tyus Jones, I think he'd be more of your safety pick that you would want to go to because he's actually going to do it all besides just trying to score. He will get you some assists, rebounds, and he can play some defense out there as well. I don't mind looking at Daniel Gafford here, 5,100, one of those cheap center prices that we can go to. Don't hate going down there to that. Delon Wright, I understand the last game, 4,700, dropped 31 fantasy points, but that game was a blowout, so we should keep that in mind. Did not, the starters, none of them played in the fourth quarter for the Washington Wizards, so definitely some of these guys off the bench, they got extended run due to that blowout. But Delon Wright, if you want to consider that as the backup guard, don't mind looking at that. But Tyus Jones, he did play a hell of a lot of minutes in that first half of the last game. If that's going to be the rotation for the Wizards, I kind of would prefer Tyus Jones. Like I said, he's less of scoring dependent, will actually do more besides just that. Over for New York, like I said, they are on a back-to-back. Last game yesterday, they went out there to play going up against Atlanta. Julius Randle, 34 minutes. Back-to-back games of not really shooting all too hot. Only took 10 shots in the second game, 3 of 7 from 3, but he's actually stuffing the stat sheet in regards to his rebounds and his assists that he's out there getting. I don't mind going to Randall here, even though he is going to draw that matchup one up against Zion and not Julius Randle, Jonas Valanciunas down there. But with the peripherals that he's actually getting and the rebounding that he's doing, I do not hate going to him. And the same thing is going to be said for Brunson as well. Brunson, he had that Brunson game that we're kind of was waiting on. Of course, in those first 2 games, went out there 33 minutes, 31 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, hell of a lot of threes, 8 of 12 from 3. I'm not going to say he's going to repeat that here in this instance, but I don't mind going to either one of these 2 guys if I take anything from the New York. And then RJ Barrett, he's going to be your sneaky guy. No one likes to click this guy's name. And this is actually a spot that I think you can actually go to RJ if you're actually feeling like I'm going right there. Quickly, we already know he is going to play off the bench. He's going to get those minutes. Decent. Don't hate if you click on it, but 5,700, I'd rather go ahead and pay for like Tyus Jones or Marcus Smart or something like that. One of those starters that are actually going to see at least 30-ish minutes out there. Mitchell Robinson, really no interest for me right here. Back to back. Definitely feel like this is one of those games where he can get himself into foul trouble with Zion coming in there, bowling ball his way in there, and Jonas, either one of those guys, Jonas or Mr. Robinson, are going to get themselves into foul trouble. Everyone else off the bench, really kind of no interest truly for me. You could take a stab at a Josh Hart or a Quentin Grimes, but no one that I feel like I have to force into a lineup right there. For New Orleans Pelicans, I will say this is, to me, feels like a Brandon Ingram game. Throughout these first 2 games going up against New York, I will say that the opposing small forward, power forward has had a game going up against them. As we've seen last night, it was DeAndre Hunter. He went out there, he had a very good game going up against them. So I guess you say more of the 4. And then same thing could be said for in that first game, Jason Tatum and Kristaps Porzingis, those bigs out there, they really did go out there and have a really good game going up against them. And with the usage that Zion and Brandon Ingram both have for this team, they have the ball in their hands quite a bit. I understand that CJ is the point guard. He's going to be doing his thing. But Zion, Brandon Ingram, I have a lot of interest in both of those guys. Right now, I'm kind of teetering towards Brandon Ingram. He is going to draw that RJ Barrett defense, and he can go out there and he can get the best of them. Definitely a position spot where he's had pretty decent history going up against Knicks as well. Do not mind going to Brandon Ingram here in this spot if I'm going to pay up for one of these 2 stars. But Zion, definitely a spot where we could possibly see him go out there and pop off and have a pretty big game as well. So either of those 2 guys will be main staples for me. And then everyone else, Herb Jones, CJ McCollum, Jonas Valanciunas, I don't mind going down there to him. I will have some interest in Herb Jones if he goes out there and can deliver. I know he's very good on the defensive side, can definitely rack up those steals and the blocks as well. If you're going to tell me he can go out there and give me the same production, especially shooting that stroke from 3, 2 of 3 from 3, 4 of 8. The shots, they're kind of low, but definitely a spot-up shooter and out there on the wing. You know he's going to either draw that RJ Barrett defensive assignment more than likely out there for them. So don't mind that. And then off the bench, really, again, decent sized slate. I don't feel like that we have to chase too much, especially for some of these teams that are not playing on the back-to-back. Now, going over here for Chicago, their studs still technically are priced too low, 75, 74, 73. All of them. Now, if Zach LaVine is to miss tonight, I will have some interest in taking one of these studs from the Chicago Bulls in DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic, or Kobe White. Kobe White has looked pretty good in these first couple of games out here for them. First game, 27 fantasy points. Second game, 38 fantasy points. He is looking the part. They finally have given him the keys, and he's delivering. He's looking very good, getting pushing the pace and everything out there for them. I do not mind going out here to Kobe White, who is only sitting at 4,800. The matchup going against the Detroit Pistons. Look at last night's game, what the Detroit Pistons just did last night and what they gave up to the opposing point guard. That's all I'm going to leave it at right there for you. But do not mind going to Kobe White here in this position spot, especially at 4,800. And if Zach LaVine misses, I might just even play Kobe White just to play Kobe White, period. Definitely feel like this is a spot where he should be able to go ahead, get his offense going, and the playmaking that he's actually has been showing that he can do this season. Definitely some staples that I will have inside my line, and just the price. I cannot get over that price right now. 4,800, that's crazy. That is ridiculously low. They're pricing him as if he's coming off the bench still. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. Going over here to the Detroit side, like I said, one of those guys for the Bulls you're definitely going to want to get if Zach LaVine is going to miss, but still Kobe White, that 4,800 price tag, that's kind of just a little bit too cheap out there for him. You can take a stab at Caruso, Drummond, or any of these guys off the bench, especially for the fact they are on a back-to-back. Alex Caruso, I know he logs major minutes, especially because they like his defensive upside that he brings and the intensity that he can bring out there. 13 rebounds, I'm not going to expect that again, especially with the defensive effort that the Detroit Pistons have. They have like 2-3 players that average close to 8 to 9 rebounds a game in Jalen Duren, which one is this? Asir Thompson and Isaiah Stewart. And then of course you got Bagley coming off the bench right there. That's love. Really don't see any need to chase a Alex Caruso here, but definitely possible that you could look to, especially considering they are on that back-to-back. Now, over here for the Detroit Pistons, Jalen Duren, the dude's been a beast, monster out here. Back-to-back, really great games, 48 and 44 fantasy points, 32, 35 minutes. I'll go right back to him right here in the spot. I don't hate it, don't mind it. And I will say, yesterday, I was on Cade to start the day. I said it. I love Cade. I love the matchup, love the spot he was in, but he got himself into foul trouble. He fouled out the game. 24 minutes, he fouled out. This is the same thing I kind of plagued him 2 years ago in his rookie season. He just picked up a shit ton of fouls whenever he's out there. And I think it's because he's just so big. He is a very big guard out there running the point. So I don't mind going right back to Cade. I'm not going to worry about it. He wasn't foul trouble last game. Going up against Chicago should be a decent defensive matchup for him, especially considering he only played 24 minutes. So that's not even half a game right there for him. We'll go right back to Cade Cunningham here in this position spot. Asir Thompson, Jaden Ivey, Isaiah Stewart, none of them really are like, ooh, I got to play them. I would consider Asir Thompson would be one that I would look at. But other than that, it's really just going to be Jalen Duren, Cade Cunningham, a lot of interest in. And then, yeah. Outside of that, not too much right there for us over here. Going over here to Philly, where I know they're going to be without Harden. Without Harden, I will continue to go to Maxey. Now, this matchup for Maxey will be a little bit tougher going up against Dennis Schroeder, the defense that they actually can bring for the Toronto Raptors out here. We know that Dennis, he's a pretty feisty defender. If OG plays, he's a very good defender himself. Scotty Barnes, he's another good defender. Pascal Siakam, another good defender. This is a pretty good defensive matchup for the Toronto Raptors coming in here. They should give Philly some problems and some issues. It's just a lower total on the slate as well. I will say I still do not mind going to Tyrese Maxey at the 8,200 price tag. I know the usage, the scoring, and everything that he's going to have to bring. And I feel like this is going to be a tougher spot for Joel Embiid matchup-wise going out here, going up against the bigs of Toronto. So Tyrese Maxey, I will prioritize him as long as Harden is out. DeAndre Melton, he will go ahead. He'll get the start again with Harden being out. I don't hate coming down here to the 5,600 price tag if you have to. Again, we have other guards like Marcus Smart and things in these other games I would rather just get to if that's going to be the case. I think the upside is going to be much better for them than what Melton is going to have in this matchup going up against the Toronto Raptors. And then outside of that, you can definitely look at Tsunami Papi and Kelly Oubre, 5,700 price tag. He is the sixth man off the bench, comes out there, and if his shot is falling once again, he's going to do what he does and drop another 30 plus fantasy point game. Over here for the Toronto Raptors, Scotty Barnes, prime, just the role that this man's playing. Dropped a triple-double last night. 22 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds. Beautiful. 17 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists in that first game. The usage, the ball is in his hand. With Fred VanVleet being gone, this pretty much is his offense. I understand Dennis is the point guard, but the initiation and everything that he takes in regards to this offense, I love it. 7,400 still too cheap. Until he gets priced up into the AK price range, he's definitely gonna be a play that I'm gonna want to go to and have inside of my lineups once again. And even with if OG is out, that just is gonna boost Scotty to me. Definitely more shots and stuff for him to be able to take. And I do not hate the matchup going up against Philly. Actually, let's look at his game log to see how he's actually done going up against Philly as well. Scotty Barnes going up against Philly, not the best, but rookie year didn't do too bad going up against Philly. Some indecent, but this is a different role, different type of thing for Scotty. I definitely do like Scotty, especially at that 7,400 price tag. I love that right there. And I think you can go to the other side, looking at Dennis Cordier. Don't hate going to him as well. Definitely another play that I would consider if I'm taking anybody from here. Siakam, I really do not have too much interest in him. I think he's still priced up way too much, 9,600. I'll wait till he drops down into that AK price range. Then I'll stop to hop onto the Siakam train because I think he'll actually be able to get there for you. Coming over here, like we said, Tyrese Halliburton, he is questionable with the illness. If he was to miss, if he's going to miss, that's definitely going to vote TJ McConnell because he should start. And we already know TJ McConnell is a great fantasy point per minute producer. The assist, the playmaking, and he can score as well. I would love that, but we have to get that news for if he's going to start. If Hallie is going to play, I definitely still like going to Halliburton. Don't mind playing him at all. But definitely if he's going to miss, TJ McCollum, Nimbahar, both of those guys will get a huge boost if he is going to miss as well. But outside of that, definitely will look to Benedict Mathurin. Don't hate that. Obi Toppin can go right back to that 4,800 price tag. That's not bad. And hopefully he can actually do what Chet did last night and have that block upside for us. Miles Turner, we know that he's a block master as well. Don't hate going to Miles Turner if you want to mess with that. I know that he's had foul troubles and issues plaguing him in the past, but only 23 minutes in that first game. So it's a little interesting in regards to that because they were rolling between Miles Turner and Smith. They were both rotating pretty well inside that last game. And Smith actually put up a pretty nice fantasy point per minute in his production and time that he got out there. So for me, really for Indy, it's going to be we have to get the injury news in regards to if Hallie is going to play or not. But if Hallie's in, definitely love. Don't mind going to Halliburton here in the spot, especially getting Cleveland on a back-to-back. The fast pace that Cleveland wants to run and play, that's going to play right into what Indy is doing because they are running. They are running and gunning out there whenever they have the ball. And I'm telling you, no shot clock was needed inside that Washington game. They were legit shooting that ball probably like after having it for 8 seconds in their hands. Shots were going up. So definitely for a fact, this should be a track meet in this game. With that being said, Garland being out, Allen, he's already out, Ty Jerome, he's out. I will have a lot of interest in Evan Mobley if Donovan Mitchell misses. I still have interest in Evan Mobley. This should be a game that should fit him being able to run up and down the court. He's not one of those slower bigs like Jerry Allen out there. Block upside as well should be there. And he got a little bit more aggressive in the second half of the game out there going up against Chet. Was actually able to salvage his night, drop 41.75 fantasy points. I'll go right back to Evan Mobley here in the spot. Like I said, again, especially if Donovan Mitchell was to miss. With the questionable mark on Donnie, if he was to be out, Karis LeVert, of course, you're going to have to definitely consider him. Isaac Okoro, I don't mind or hate. I know he left the game last night because he got popped in the face right there. But if Donnie was to miss, we probably are going to have to actually consider maybe Dean Wade. I know he slid into the starting lineup yesterday as well. So I definitely have to pay attention to that news right there because that is going to fluctuate and decide how we kind of move and play with that. Miami taking on Minnesota. I really don't have too much interest in this game. This should be a slower paced game. Of course, we already know that Jimmy, Martin, Love are going to be out in Richardson. So Tyler Hero will probably be the main person I would actually consider from this. Kyle Lowry's old behind. Really don't have too much interest there. And the second fiddle will be Bam Adebayo. Would be the second one I would actually consider right there. Off the bench, not too heavy on anybody. It's really just Tyler Hero or nobody and Bam for Miami. For Minnesota, Anthony Edwards, he came out last game and he said how he really wasn't facilitating the ball. Kind of felt like he just took way too many shots, things like that. So I'm expecting a bounce back game and facilitating from him this time whenever he has the ball in his hand. He really said that the ball was sticking too much in his hands as attested by the 27 shots that he took. So I do like this position spot for him, especially with Jimmy Butler being out. I'm not too scared of the Miami defense without Jimmy being out there. So, Ant would be one of the better studs that you could pay up for, along with the Kevin Durant on today's slate. So, love the spot for Ant. And then Towns, Rudy Gobert, don't mind either one of those two guys, especially with Kevin Love being out. I know that K-Love, he's old, but really, who's going to defend both Towns and Rudy Gobert? One of these two bigs are going to have a pretty good game out here. And Rudy being at 7K price tag, that's actually pretty nice. 32 minutes, only took 6 to 12 shots, 15, 13, nice double-double, 4 blocks. That's not bad for Rudy out here in this position spot. So either one of these two guys, I would flip a coin. But, of course, cash games, I'd take Rudy. GBPs, I'll take Karl Anthony Towns. That's kind of how I would break that down. Looking at it, Conley, Kyle Anderson, you can definitely always play slow-mo. You know he's going to actually go out there and get his. Nikhil Alexander Walker. This was the thing I was worried about last game with Walker. So even though he started and whatnot, he only played 23 minutes, and I was kind of more worried that Kyle Anderson was going to really get those minutes, and he played 30 minutes, and he does what Kyle Anderson does. So if picking between the two, you could always go with Nikhil Anderson and Walker if he starts, but just understand Kyle Anderson more than likely is going to play more in the game. Then you can always go to Naz Reid off the bench for them. Last game of the night, the Utah Jazz taking on Phoenix. For them, of course, it's going to be KD. We already know with everyone else being out, the usage is going to be in KD's hand, and this should also be another fast-paced game. I love KD. Pretty much your best stud to go ahead and just pay up for. Let's just go ahead and lock him in right there. And then outside of that, Lauri Markkanen, don't hate it, don't mind it. Not a must technically to me, but we know the upside that he has. I will go right back to Nurk. We know that he should be second in command right behind KD. Foul trouble, which was the thing that we were worried about going into that last game. 28 minutes going up against Los Angeles Lakers, but he did get into a lot of foul trouble out there. Picked up like 2 quick fouls in the first quarter and sat for quite a bit. Still played his 28 minutes, but I do not mind going right back to Nurk. Should be a pretty decent matchup going up against Walker Kessler. I think he should be able to actually go out there and have his way. Definitely should be able to gobble up some rebounds out there as well. Outside of that, of course, for the Phoenix side, we can come down here to Goodwin. He played 30 minutes off the bench, looked very well, got 28.5 fantasy points. I'll go right back to him at that 4.4 price tag. Technically, he will be your second one that you want to look at for the Suns out there behind Kevin Durant. Then, of course, you can go ahead and take a shot back at Eric Gordon. He should draw the start. If he starts again, they might actually switch it up and let Goodwin start finally. And then it's not sexy, but you can always look to Grayson Allen as well. On the Utah Jazz side, like I already said, Lauri Markkanen, he's going to be your main guy you want to go to. You can take a chance on Taylor Horton-Tucker, Kelly Olynyk, John Collins, any of those other guys. But mainly for me, it's just going to be Markkanen. I really feel like my late night hammer is going to really come from that Phoenix side for anything from this game. But all right, guys, that's going to be the breakdown right there. Hopefully, I give you guys something that you can actually use for today's slate. Good luck to everybody. Hopefully, you guys cash out. Check the links down in the description below if you guys are looking for the player pool, cores, and any prop plays. With that being said, it's your boy Zoe, and I'm out.